Much has been made this past offseason of Addison Russell changing his style to a leg kick. We're going to discuss here the timing benefit that Russell gets from the leg kick, but also reveal one other benefit that hasn't been talked about in the media. In previous seasons, Russell used a style I call a stride shift, which is really a false stride and then shifting his weight to center. To me, this is one of the most difficult timing mechanisms. But timing mechanisms are style preferences, and there's certainly been hitters that have succeeded within the stride shift model, such as Ian Kinsler and Evan Longoria. You can get a good look at this shift as you watch some clips from him in the minor leagues. And what you see sometimes with the stride shift style is it often becomes choppy, or it can lack fluidity. And if the swing loses its fluidness, then it loses some of its whip and potential bat speed. That's the opposite of what you're going to see with the knee lift here in 2016. It's a slow, rhythmic, easy, and fluid style, which allows him to ride the hip coil out. And we always say as a hitting instructor, with a player using a knee lift, you can put your foot down whenever you're ready to hit. But it's this increased stride action that's leading to an increased hand action. And it's this smoothness that's really benefiting Russell in another way. And it has to do with his upper body load. So let's go back to the 2015 clip. With the stride shift mechanism, we see a very short hand action in Russell's upper body. He used a higher hand placement last year, and you see he basically just pulls his hands down into the hitting position, and they begin to slot by just dropping down as his hips begin to rotate. There's very little pullback and thus torque in this type of swing. Now, Russell's always been noted, and you can see in Fangraphs, that it's been much illustrated that he has good power for somebody his size. But he doesn't fully utilize this pullback potential by increasing the tightness around his core, the pullback of his upper body load. So when I'm watching this clip, it looks like Russell's bottom hand in his launch position was still closer to the camera than his bottom elbow. And that's often a signal that we haven't fully tightened the core. When this happens, the energy from the lower body doesn't pass into the upper body as fast as the core is used as a conductor. So I look at some photos or some video from the pitcher's view, and you can see here clearly in 2015 how Russell's bottom hand was still outside his elbow at foot down. Compare this to somebody like Mike Trout, who has more of a pullback, and you can clearly see how his hands are hidden by his front shoulder as he gets into foot strike. The hands being hidden is something that hitting instructors for years would say we shouldn't do, but in reality, this is necessary. And as you see, the rear elbow often peeking out from behind a hitter's back, it holds there for just a fraction of a second. The lower body begins to bring the hands visible to the pitcher once again. So in this new clip in 2016, you're seeing how the increased stride action has allowed Russell to add increased hand action, because we know leg action and hand action always match up. So because of the increased hand action, Russell has added an increased pullback, whether knowingly or conscious of it or not. And it still could be more, but he is pulling his hands a little tighter to his body. He has increased his scap load by just a little bit, and thus he's tightened his core more. So we have increased torque and power potential even by just adding a timing mechanism of a leg kick. And you can see the increased pullback here in the still photo and how it compares more favorably to what Trout is doing. As I mentioned, it's not fully there yet, and in my opinion, Russell should embrace this new hand action and use it more to get into a full upper body load, and you'll see greater adjustability in his swing, and the power numbers continue to rise.